2 years ago, we launched the Write Build Scale publication on Substack, and today the publication is serving over 50,000 subscribers and almost 2,000 paid members. And nearly everything we know about Substack, we learned by building and testing in public, not by reading about it. So let me be honest with you right away, even if it won't win me many friends. Most people get Substack completely wrong, and a lot of the advice out there is worthless. And it's not because anyone is lying, it's because they treat one of the most powerful and complex platforms online like a simple newsletter tool. Now, this is my honest review of 2 years on Substack, what actually works right now, what's genuinely hard, and who this platform is really for. Now, before we get into it, you might notice that this video looks a little different from what you're used to seeing on this channel. I recently moved into a new house and I'm still in the middle of setting up my studio, but I didn't want to wait until everything is perfect because we're just crossing our 2-year anniversary on Substack and I wanted to get this out on time. And honestly, it feels like a slightly unperfect setup feels exactly right for an honest conversation like this anyway. So let's get into it. Now, I actually started my very first Substack publication back in 2021, and this detail matters because back then, Substack was barely a publishing tool. You could write an email, send it to your subscribers, and charge for a paid newsletter, and that was it. There were no notes, no recommendations, no app full of features. It was a simple newsletter tool and nothing more. If you look at it right now, it's a completely different universe. You can go live, you can host a podcast, you can run a paid tier, add perks, open a high-ticket founding member tier. You can design your publication in a dozen different ways, build recommendation networks, run collaborations, publish notes that reach people who have never heard of you. And here's the part most people completely underestimate. Substack has quietly turned into one of the most powerful platforms a creator can build on. And at the same time, it's one of the most complex channels you can use. But the problem is that most people, even established creators, still think of Substack as a newsletter tool and compare it to platforms like Kit or Beehive. And that's the single biggest misunderstanding about the platform because Substack is not a newsletter tool anymore. It's the first platform that combines the reach of social media with something social media will never give you: ownership of your own audience. On Instagram, LinkedIn, or X, you build a following, but the platform owns the relationship. It's not you. On Substack, when someone subscribes to your publication, you get a direct line to the reader, their email address. That combination of social reach on top of a real ownership is the whole reason we're having this conversation right now. And it's also why building a solid publication on Substack is genuinely hard, especially if you're not doing this full time. So the real question is not whether you should be on Substack or not, it's how you navigate something this complex without wasting years getting it wrong. Now, since the platform is complex, you would expect the advice around it to be careful and tested, but sadly, it usually isn't. Most of the Substack advice floating around comes from people who don't even do this full time, sharing tactics they read somewhere else. Or worse, it's strategies based on a gut feeling that just happened to work once or twice. And honestly, that's exactly why we made a decision that surprised a lot of people. We went all in on Substack as a team of 3 founders in 2024. And the reason is simple. We realized that the platform is moving incredibly fast and we had to put our resources into Substack if we wanted to truly understand the platform and help other creators leverage it. We simply didn't want our clients to waste months on outdated tactics or advice that was never even true in the first place. And I need to be upfront about something here. We don't figure all of this out alone either. We partner with people like Orel from RightStack, who studies the data across tens of thousands of Substack posts and notes, so our decisions come from real numbers instead of gut feelings. Because the truth is, what worked on Substack a year ago probably won't work right now, and the only way to know the difference is to be inside the environment every single day. So with all of that said, here are 3 things we learned in 2 years that almost nobody talks about. And the first myth that I want to bust is that great writing and great content will eventually get discovered. But that's just not true anymore, not even on Substack, because Substack is not a search engine and talent alone won't move a single subscriber your way. Distribution will do that. Now the good news is that the platform gives you powerful tools to distribute your work and actually get discovered by a brand new audience. You have Substack Notes to reach people who've never heard of you. You have recommendations that bring in new readers to you in the background, and collaborations that borrow trust from other creators your ideal reader might already be connected to. Now let me show you how the notes part actually works, because this is where a large chunk of our growth comes from. You post a note and your followers and subscribers might see it. Some of them like it, they restack it or comment, and that engagement pushes your note out to a slice of their followers, people who've never heard of you. A few of those people might subscribe, they start reading your articles, they engage with your next note, and that pushes you out to their network and audiences. Round and round it goes, and it compounds. And more importantly, the algorithm will show your notes based on interest. So people who might be interested in your work, even if they have no connection and no similar people they are following or are followed by, might see your note in their feed. And this is exactly how our notes generated over 10,000 new subscribers in total, just by showing up regularly, being active, sharing snippets, sharing parts of our longer form content that we are producing anyway. Now the catch is that all of this takes a smart strategy, because if you are anything like me, you have a very busy schedule and you don't want to be thinking about posting new notes all day every day. And the problem that most creators face is that they ignore tools like notes entirely, or they use them randomly and then they wonder why nothing works. I constantly hear from my creator friends saying, "Oh, okay, Substack sounds interesting. I will just post a few notes and I will see how it goes." But the reality is, if that's your approach, it won't go anywhere. Just like any other platform requires a strategic approach to help you reach your people, the same is true on Substack. But growing your audience is only half the story, because once somebody subscribes, you basically need to convince them that it's worth staying with you through smart retention strategies. But that's a whole different conversation for another time. Now my second lesson stings a little, but I'll still say it out loud. You don't make money on Substack just by posting articles and being a good writer. You make money by building something people genuinely want to pay for, and then actively marketing and selling it. Most people don't realize that and just assume that if they grow their lists, the income will follow. And then they are confused when a few thousand free subscribers turn into almost no paid members. And here's the math that reframes the whole perspective. You don't need to go viral, and you don't need a giant audience. 100 paid members at $10 a month is $12,000 a year. That's the Substack Bestseller threshold, and it's far more achievable than chasing some enormous follower count, especially if you are in your first couple of months. When we launched the Write Build Scale publication, we crossed our first 100 paid members within 60 days. And that's when it became clear that this could actually be a real business channel, not just a side platform to double on. And now here's the bigger principle behind all of this, and it's maybe the most important lesson from our 2 years on the platform. Your publication is not supposed to be the entire business. It's the entry point to your universe, to your ecosystem. It's how people discover you, learn to trust you, and eventually invest in your work at a deeper level. But the third lesson I want you to watch out for is something happening on the platform right now that can quietly pull you away from building the right thing. Because here's what's changed most over the last year. With notes, Substack is starting to feel more and more like social media. The scrolling, the likes, that little hit of dopamine when a post takes off. All of that can be useful, but it can also quietly pull you off course, because the metrics that feel good are rarely the ones that matter. Follower counts, likes, and viral notes don't pay your bills. Remember, your job here is not to build a following, it's to build subscribers. Real people people who hand you their email and actually want to hear from you. Now, the moment you start chasing vanity metrics, you have turned Substack into one more social platform that you don't own, which is the exact opposite of why you came here in the first place. Now, before I move on, if everything so far is making you want to build your Substack the right way instead of guessing, I have put together a free resource called the Substack Starter Kit that walks you through the exact foundations we use to grow our publication. This includes a publication checklist, a positioning guide, a publication page template, and much more. You can comment Starter Kit below if you want to get free access to it, and while you're at it, make sure to give the video a thumbs up so more Substackers can find it. Now, there's one more thing I didn't expect when I came back to Substack, and it's honestly become my favorite part of these 2 years. The people on Substack are different, the energy is different, and most of the internet right now is built for outrage and endless scrolling, where one word gets you torn apart. Substack, on the other hand, feels like the exact opposite right now. People read, they reply, they share, they actually get invested in what you are building. It feels less like an audience and more like a room full of people who genuinely want to be in that particular room. And that kind of trust is really rare on the internet right now, and it's worth more to a serious creator than any follower count. Now, after 2 years on the platform, we can usually spot the people who will thrive on Substack from a mile away because there are clear signals. Substack is for you if you've got real expertise, a genuine message, or a body of work, and you're willing to show up. Invest in understanding a completely new platform dynamic and build win-win partnerships with other creators. Substack rewards creators who treat it like a serious business asset instead of a lottery ticket to go viral. And it's especially powerful if you are a coach, consultant, author, expert, or educator with a clear message worth sharing. On Substack, trust is your most valuable currency, and your expertise helps you build trust faster than anything else. Now, on the other hand, Substack definitely is not for you if you want passive income without doing the work, if you're hunting for a viral hack instead of a real foundation, or if the idea of putting yourself out there publicly makes you want to close the tab. The people who succeed here are real builders, and the ones who don't are usually looking for a shortcut that basically doesn't exist anyway. So after 2 years of building on Substack and pouring most of our time into this one platform, I can tell you we'd make the same choice again without any hesitation, because an engaged audience on Substack is far more valuable than a passive follower on any other platform. On Substack, you own the relationship, you have the email addresses, and if the algorithm changes overnight or the platform you poured years into disappears, you can take your audience with you. That alone is incredibly rare, and it's worth so much more than gaining more followers. Now, the timing matters more than almost anything else right now. Despite how powerful Substack has become, we are still in the very early days. Just think about who won on YouTube. It's the people who showed up in 2008 and 2009 when the lanes were still wide open. Now, every platform has a window of opportunity, and the early movers get rewarded out of proportion. That window is open on Substack right now, and the people building seriously right now are the ones who will massively profit from it in 2 years. The same way we do with Brightbuild Scale right now. Now, before you rush off to start or restart your own publication, I want you to do one quick thing first. Take a few minutes and write down the one thing that's most likely to hold you back from going all in on Substack right now. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's the fear of putting yourself out there. Maybe it's not knowing what to write about. Whatever it is, naming it honestly is the first step to getting past it. And if you are up for it, share it in the comments below so we can have an honest and real conversation about it. And once you've done that, check out this video where I break down the exact architecture behind a Substack publication that actually generates serious profits, with real examples from creators in completely different niches. I'll see you there.